All right, you're the lead off here. John, you've got the snappiest acronym to describe how you would go about building a moment like this.
Yes, Gerard, you couldn't say that I actually presented this to the players, but probably there's more the thought process behind it, and we'll put it up and have a look at it now. But it's just a thought process behind the type of players that you're looking for, and preferably one in each line. If you're looking at big moments in the game, what characteristics they need to have. They need to know their footy clearly, the situation, the plan. They need clarity. They can't be too emotional. They're not about celebrating or wrestling. They've just got to get the job done. The communication's critical, obviously. What needs to be done, who needs to do it, and how do I do it? The action part is obviously really important. The I tell. There's no time for consulting. It can't be a meeting about it. And you need to be incredibly selfless, and you need to be resilient, because sometimes it doesn't work. We've both coached examples of players that are really good at it, and we saw a great example on the weekend with Fremantle that Simmo's going to take us through now.
All right, Simmo, put Kakar in action for us.
Kakar. All right, I'm just getting through the Kakar bit, but yeah, it's right though. The words are actually right. It's spot on, and we're going to look at Fremantle in a minute. And and this is any league, any level, but if you can have a leader in your back line, your midfield and your forward line that can actually connect, and it's a bit of a guess this, because I don't really know, but I'm looking at Pearce, Serong and Treacy in the Fremantle game, and we'll bring it up in a second. There's 2 minutes to go, and to paint the picture, you're a point down, and then the score's a level, and then you're a goal up. So there's 3 different activations you need to go through. So what every coach educates the players on is this particular drill, and it's a 2-minute drill, and that requires some leadership on field. So we'll bring up the vision now, because it's a little bit to it, but at the same time, it's pretty basic as well. If you look at the bottom of the screen with Pearce, so they've just conceded a goal, and they're now a point behind. So they've done this training before, where Treacy, he's sort of got he's ready for it. He knows what's going on. Pearce has decided he's the one that needs to go forward, and the runner has just arrived then. So they're already, if you're a good coach team, if the runner's getting there and the players already know, Pearce is trying to get to the wing, and that wing has fallen asleep a little bit. So, okay, I'll start here, but I'm pushing forward. And then Horse, the midfield, what are they going through here?
Yeah, this is Serong taking charge. What I love about this is it's Serong. They're not relying upon Fife. And so, he's the one clearly in that midfield group taking control about the plan. And, they're talking to the rucks. They're talking about the positioning. Obviously, Port are trying to do the same thing, but you can just see Serong here, and he does a really good move. He needs to own the outside, not necessarily when you need to score, you need to own the inside. He goes forward and then comes back on the back of Rosie and is able to cut back. The flip out from his ruckman was superb. He gets some space, and you need to own the outside, not necessarily the inside in these situations. It goes forward. They score a point. Obviously now scores a level. Then it gets back to the kick-in. Really interesting that Sweet was actually pointing to the other side of the ground, or I'm not sure why they didn't go down the middle on this particular occasion. But they, both teams looking to score here, hopefully. You can just see Serong, the ability to be able to win a one-on-one is really important. He takes that mark. As we can see, as Simmo mentioned, Pearce has started to push down and get a great mismatch inside the front half. And that gives Serong the ball. He's looking around. He asks the other forwards to move with his hand. He's like a circular motion, keep moving. You can just see Pearce guard the space and be in a great position to be able to make the most of that mismatch and go back and kick the goal that puts him in front.
Yeah, that's magnificent. And he had, I think it was Rosie in the end. So Rosie had to go down and track him down. So the mismatch was perfect. What's going on here?
Well, if you can take it back, boys, just a little bit, because Garry interrupted our schedule.
Sorry, Adam.
Are we able to rewind it? I'm not sure if we can.
Yep.
There we go. So what happened then? So Pearce takes the mark, and Treacy's already, just pause it there for a second, boys. Treacy's already said, listen, we're going to score here, so we're going to hit the front. So he's already setting up behind the play, and this is where the leadership comes in. And these aren't the only 3 leaders. I'm sure there's plenty of others within the side, but if you let it roll now, he's going, okay, there's going to be a score here. We're going to hit the lead. I'm going to set up behind the play. I'm going to tell Clark, who's actually a defender, you might have to push up to the wing. A goal scored, a lot of guys celebrate, but they're already in leadership, set up the last 30 seconds mode. So Mirror's the winger. He now needs to be a forward. So he understands Clark's now a winger instead of a back, and Treacy. So clearly Fremantle said, we want talls to solve our problems, whether it's Pearce forward or Treacy back. And just to look at that, that had nothing to do with the coach's box. It was all done pre-season and your 2-minute drills, and they preempted a lot of what they needed to do from a leadership point of view, from a direction point of view. And in the end, it was from an execution point of view. So to do those 3 or 4 or 5 different things we just saw then, that's a really mature team who knows how to handle pressure.
Terrific.
Adam and I are calling together Friday. I think we've just got a clear understanding of how that's going to run. Just put me in back of my box straight away.
Well, actually, it was Garry's Syrian Inquisition last week that broke the two of you down. Exactly. At what point, each of you, John, when did you have the epiphany, oh, God, the coaching's not for me if he's going to be like that?
Yeah, no, Gaz taking on the real hard-hitting role down there, isn't he? He's a hard-hitting journalist. There's no question. Gaz, you're doing a great job.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
No, I mean, it wasn't one moment where you just wake up and say, look, I'm not going to do it next year. It was over a period of, I mean, that was only, just remember, 24 hours after it actually happened. Yep. So, believe it or not, we actually said what we thought, which was we actually didn't know. We hadn't spent any time thinking about the coaching job. And so when there was one bob up, you actually need more than 24 hours. I know it sounds strange to actually consider it. And that's all we were doing. That's all I was doing anyway. I'm not sure about you, Simmo.
Yeah, exactly the same. I mean, you know, even Simon tonight, and I heard him speak before, and he spoke very well, but you know, imagine if someone knocked on his door today and said, "Hey, listen, do you want to go for another job here?" There's so much to take in. So we're trying to be honest, and on reflection, I haven't changed anything since we made the call. I hasn't really changed anything that I've done. So it's just need a little bit of time to compute everything. And in the end, Melbourne didn't ring either of us. So, you know, it was just more a media-driven thing that we make a decision that's a bit more public than normal.
Well, you both jumped the gun for what it's worth, but anyway.
Yeah, I think I broke him. Horse, you seen any similarities with your Sydney Swans and the Magpies right now? So both got out to massive leads in the home and away, and now coming back to the pack. Craig McRae sat here a couple of weeks ago, said he felt like he was leading the Tour de France and the pelotons just coming and breathing down their neck. Was this bringing you back to last year?
It's hard to, Gaz, keep that momentum up and, keep that form up for as a long period of time, particularly if you're 3 games clear for a long time. It's hard the competition's really not designed for that. So you're going to go into patches of where you just dip a little bit. We were fortunate we came out of that patch and won the next 5 in a row leading into the grand final. So we actually were able to ride it, and that felt good. I think it's a great thing that Collingwood are actually going to Adelaide this week. I think that's a really good moment for them to be able to try and break the ice a little bit in regards to how they're playing in the wins. And I think that's a really important thing to be able to embrace that, wrap your arms around the pressure that provides, and hopefully come out the other end with a win for them.
What do you think's going on, Simmo?
Well, I mean, I'm going to run the risk at the moment. What I really hated when I was coaching, when teams and commentators in particular would say, "Oh, they've been worked out." Back in, and a Horse, I'm sure you would have had something as well, where to beat West Coast, you just got to keep them under 100 marks. And at the moment, the perception with Collingwood is you just got to take them on and make it a fast turnover to turnover game, because they can't keep up with their pressure and what their DNA is. If you just keep taking them on and disrupt their system, you'll be fine. And that used to annoy me. I'm sure it annoys Fly. But until you prove them wrong, that's what teams are going to do. So I suspect Adelaide is going to bring a fast-paced game and try and expose the leg speed. I know there might be some players coming back in, but that's probably what the perception is at the moment, albeit there's so much more to it.